dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and the podcast. How are you? Feelgood Friday fun today. Mrs. M will be joining us soon. Looking forward to that. Seems like there's lots of catching up to do. I've got lots of things to show her, including the possibility of me joining an adult ballet class locally, playing netball. Very progressive, aren't I? And catching up on a few things. It seems like a long time since she's been here on the screen with us. And the same with Bobby O'Reilly. He's joining us at around 9:30 this morning. And Coach Turner also joining us too. That's been a while. Coach Turner with us every day, helping us with our health and fitness. And he'll be bringing those recommendations off the page this morning at around 9. And he's got another one for us that you can do sat in your chair. So maybe we'll try that all together. That one from earlier this week where you sit in a chair and open your legs, basically flashing at passers-by, may have got a lot of people in trouble this week. Let's find out. And the coach can face the music with that when he joins us at around 9 this morning. Let us know what you're up to this weekend, if you will. Got a few highlights from the Bairrada district, from Bairrandi. Thank you very much, Andy, for those. And, of course, all of your serving suggestions for the weekend. What you're up to, do let me know. I've had a friend request in from Wooden Connection Algarve. Should I confirm that? I wonder. Maybe I should take my wife's advice on that. It's very good to take Mrs. M's advice on things before I get myself into trouble on social media, as you may have seen this week. Jay Clark is in. João de Norte is in. The João de Norte, who was in, who sent us those beautiful photographs from the Posada in Viana do Castelo yesterday. Absolutely beautiful. And he's featured alongside me. Where's that gone? I downloaded that picture, I thought, of our most recent article in the Portugal Resident. I say our article because João de Norte and myself are featured today. You know, it's been an up and down week. There's been some manual labor involved, and I was telling you how shocked I was to be involved directly with some manual labor earlier this week. The closets are up, and I was in and out of the closet a couple of days this week, 2.5 days possibly, just squeezing it in, fitting it in around our pre-existing schedule of erecting some IKEA wardrobes, closets, and very fine they look too. So delighted to have been involved in some manual work there. And in the Portugal Resident this week, there's me sleeping. So it's been a roller coaster ride. That wasn't me sleeping after erecting wardrobes. And who doesn't like to erect a wardrobe first thing in the morning? That's me recommending. I think that was, that article for a Goldilocks day, just one thing. And our recommendation is to just attempt to do one thing. And many a mickle makes a muckle. You do one thing every day. You've done a lot of things within a few weeks and months. And that's probably all you need to concern yourself with. Just do one significant thing. Make slow and steady progress. Slow and steady wins the race. And also, as pictured there, have a seshta in the afternoon. And I think that was because John and I spoke on the phone and confided in each other that on that same day when we spoke to each other, we'd had a little kip first. Not together. Not that there would be anything wrong with that. You know, good friends and all that. But we confided in each other. We both had a little snooze in the afternoon, which we thoroughly commend to you. And there's John, bottom left-hand corner there, sharing breakfast with his two cats, whether he wanted to or not. I think that's the way cats operate, isn't it? So nice one, John. See if you can get yourself a copy of the Portugal Resident up there in the north of Portugal. I'm pretty sure you can. And there's my Valentine's poet. Is that Owen? We're talking. Owen is everyone's Valentine's poet, right? Oh, my cat as well. He's got 2 Valentine's poets. And my cat wrote me a Valentine's poem. I don't know what to say, so I'll say it from my gut. I love you, dear human. Now look at my butt. Yes! Very good, John. Even without opposable thumbs, your cat managed to... Well, I said it with... Probably mimed that to you, right? Hence the inspiration. Sound like your cat was in a good mood. Oh, I see where this show is going this morning. So yes, some Friday Feelgood Friday fun this morning. Mrs. M joining us, Coach Turner and Bobby O'Reilly, who we haven't seen for ages, and we've got a little film to play. I think I'll show that when Mrs. M arrives because she's featured in that as well. There's a few gumpers in this video, so stand by. You might see yourself if you're at the Flavors of India gathering. Oh, and talking of gatherings, next Wednesday, do you fancy coming along to San Martino de Porto and joining us at the networking lunch? It's a little bit different. Ordinarily, we go to Palmeira and we're looked after by Nelson and Margarita. It's such the Palmeira meetup is just an institution now, but you know it's no big deal. People turn up if they want to. And every week somebody turns up. There's a few regulars, and there were a couple of newer people, some brand new people, some people who come for a second time, a third time this last Wednesday. And it's always great there. Really good, really great venue. I'm so glad that we've hit it off with Nelson like that. And it must be getting on for 2 years that we've been doing that. New to the diary is every 4th Wednesday, we have a little bit of a change and we head over walking distance from Palmeira, just a little bit along the Marginal. And we end up from around midday in the Gatsby bar, have a few drinks to get the party started, and then lunch cooked by Marco, who I think is trying out for a Michelin star. How was it? Who went to the Valentine's do? Let us know what that was like. The evening last Friday was extraordinary, the Epicurean extravaganza that I was at. That was incredible. I don't think I've showed you any pictures yet of that. Oh, you did see my video, didn't you, of the white chocolate dome where we were having tea instead of coffee, fine herb teas, aromatic teas with the dessert last Friday. That was amazing. If you want to come and savor the storytellers atmosphere this Wednesday, come and join us. But you'll have to let me know. That's an RSVP. The normal Wednesday gathering is just rock up, turn up, and be there, as my dad used to say. But with the catering that's required and the extraordinarily good standard of catering that we enjoy on the 4th Wednesday of each month, I need an RSVP from you. So let me know if you'd like to come along for that. Just send me a message, 913-590-303, which is, of course, the WhatsApp line for the studio for any of your pictures and videos. Lots to share with Mrs. M when she shows up, because I'm looking forward to her comments on a number of things, including the lewd illustrations in Aveiro, netball, adult ballet class, husbands for sale, all sorts of wonderful things. And we'll talk through our encounter with the farmers in Caldas de Rainha yesterday, which was very moving. It was incredible to see them, and I gave them quite a lot of my horn yesterday as we were passing them. It's customary in a protest, I think, to sound the horn, and I was leading the way with that, quite frankly. I was really letting off quite a lot of steam and feeling my heart chakra quite open towards the farmers, and that's what I saw on the front of a vehicle there. Agrancy femme now. So farming, yes. Hunger, no, which is a variation on the theme of no farmers, no food right now that seems to be happening. And I'm with you, whoever it was who said to me earlier, haven't they got what they want from the EU? Well, they may well have. And the EU caved, I think, on some of their requirements in snookering the farmers into a difficult position. But it would appear the farmers still have some beef. Get it? Okay. How are you doing? What are you doing this weekend? Do let me know. Who else is here this morning? Let's go through these comments and see how everyone's doing this morning. It's the Gumper check-in from around 8:31 until we welcome our special guests at 9 and 9:30 each weekday morning. Bon dia, Gumpers. Oh, yes, and I want to show Mrs. M as well the new, I'm calling it a brochure. It is the History and Culture of Portugal by David Mapley. I said I'd get that published on the Portugal Club yesterday, but I didn't manage to do that. Another busy day. I don't know where all the time goes. The sayings of the day are amassing there to well over 300 posts of Portuguese sayings of the day, started by T-Duck, who we can see, who managed to sleep last night. Well done. I posted up, I gathered together all the Carretos pictures because I put up a little post about Intrudo, which is part of the Carnival celebrations here in Portugal. It's a lovely little post, actually. Let me bring it onto the screen for you. So we had a lot of lovely pictures, didn't we, of Carretos? We had Philomena talking about it. We had those lovely pictures from Sarah, and a regional variation from Bairandi. So they are up there now in the Intrudo post on gmpvip.com, aka the Portugal Club. There it is right there. So just so you know what Intrudo is, and it's Shrovetide, and that will be the ancient Galician Portuguese celebration held in the 3 days preceding Lent, in which revelers threw buckets of water, scented lemons. Mrs. M's got some scented lemons going on in the kitchen, eggs, tangerines, not tambourines, tangerines, pastries, gloves filled with sand. Ouch. They hit themselves with brooms and wooden spoons and got dirty, whatever that means, however you wish to take that. They got dirty with flour, plaster, who doesn't like to, etc. Okay, so powdery things, white powders of various kinds. In the Kingdom of Portugal, it existed until 1817, while in the Empire of Brazil, it was repressed since 1854, when it gave way to the modern carnival. Amazing, eh? So all the pictures are there as well that have been gathered, including Carretos, a new generation there, captured by Sarah. Fantastic. And the Carretos when they visited Miranda de Corvo. Excellent illustrations and a little potted history of Intrudo and the Carretos of Podence there. We shall return to the Portugal Club because that's where we're going to put David Mapley's guide as well. I want to talk to Mrs. M about that, however. So I'll save that for the time being. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta. Putting the sex in sexta-feira, everybody. A todos. Como vão as coisas? How are things? Let us know in the chat. Feel free to respond. When people speak to you in Portuguese, don't just stand there with a blank look on your face. Give it your best shot. Muito bem, obrigado. Would do, wouldn't it? And then say, oh, it's complicado, and walk off. But at least try something. We work on ourselves in this mindful moment from James in order to help others, but we also help others in order to work on ourselves. Give and take. You scratch my spiritual back, and I shall scratch yours with a handcrafted ethnic back scratcher. Tradecraft, of course, which we've bought for the same sort of purposes of a nice little spiritual virtual signal there. Pema Shodron, a popular name amongst seekers, I think, a Buddhistic writer. And we've got a hilarious visual in from, my goodness, some excellent pickies. Oh, wow. Fantastic, Bobby. Thanks for those pictures. Some groundworks going on at Herdad de Mayo. That's incredible. Where's that picture I wanted from James as well? Here we go. I'm just going to load that up now. This is hilarious. Thank you very much for that. A nice sort of hippie meme, a mindful meme this morning, and a Star Trekky one, which we forgot to do yesterday. So let's do that quickly now as well. Let's bring those images over from WhatsApp into the picture deck. Thank you on 913-590-303. So the mindful meme, yes, says this young fella here. I finally killed my ego. Now I'm better than everyone else. That feels better, doesn't it? It feels better to feel better than everybody else on the spiritual quest there. Spiritually correct to the core after a couple of ayahuasca retreats and setting up a permaculture plot in Portugal, no doubt. Humans are so primitive, they eat more bananas than monkeys, says Spock. Is that Scotty there? Forgive me. It's not Scotty, is it? Who's that guy there on the right? Trekkies will be so shocked that I can't remember that fella's name on the right there. I've never eaten a monkey in my life, is his response. There. Thank you very much to you, James, for that. And a bon dia alegria gumpers from T-Duck there. Great to see your name back on the screen, T-Duck. Welcome back. The T-Duck shaped hole has now been refilled, and the dad joke vacuum can close, I hope, in the next few days. The God's God tip of the day, Coach Turner can deliver that himself when he arrives. We've had the mindful moment from Pema Shedron via James, and a mindful dad joke then. I was going to tell you how meditation can help with time traveling, but you didn't like it. See what you did there? Very good. And God Squad tips of the day being the comments there pertaining to the God Squad tip of the day, starred up and ready to go for when Coach Turner comes on at 9. See you all later on, he says. And should I or shouldn't I? Friend request in Wooden Connection Algarve. I'll ask Louisa when she joins us. Jay Clark responding. It's been nice to see you this week, and thank you for your pictures and videos on 913-590-303. Jay Clark in Spain, neighbouring Spain, Iberian. By definition now, joining us on the Good Morning Portugal show from Spain. I just bike ride everywhere, up and down hills, and swimming hard twice a week. I'm in better shape now at 55 when I was at 35. Isn't that a great thing to be able to say? Nice one, Jay. I would say I am too, probably in better shape in many ways than I was 20 years ago. Good stuff. A bon dia Portugal from João de Norte as well, and a bon dia from T-Duck, who finally slept at night so that he can be awake during the day. It kind of fits in with the pattern of other human beings, doesn't it? My cat, nice one, T-Duck. My cat wrote me a Valentine's poem. If you weren't here earlier on, you wouldn't have heard me reading this out. I don't know what to say, so I'll say it from my gut. I love you, dear human. Now look at my butt. Yes, handy tea towel holder or pen. No, not pencil sharpener. Do not try that. Do not ever mention that you heard that here on the Good Morning Portugal show, please. Sounds like your cat was in a good mood. Very good, T-Duck. And bon dia, everyone, from Jackie the Humble Crafter, who we saw last night as well on the Dream Team session. That was great fun over on Expats Portugal's YouTube channel, hosting the Dream Team session. And before that, talking to Sarah Davey, talking about moving money, mainly from the United States of America, changing your dollars for euros. And that video, if you need to see that, will be up on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel at 6 o'clock of this coming Sunday. So I'll do a little bit of an edit on that, and that'll be posted up and ready to roll. Sally will do her magic on that, and that'll be ready on Sunday there if you need to learn more about. There's always something new, and it's very interesting how the Expats Portugal community on a Thursday night, many people have heard the messages before, but come along and as I say, warm themselves around the fireside of migration and just have a chat and check in. It's a nice little check-in on a Thursday night, the 7:30 webinar, which I am delighted and proud to host. See them all up on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel. And talking of YouTube channels, yes, the Good Morning Portugal YouTube channel, thanks again to everybody who helped us get over 2,000 subscribers. Every time I ask people to help, there's a little spurt of membership and subscription. So thank you to everybody. We've gone way beyond 2,000 now, which is wonderful news. And Mrs. M, don't forget to congratulate Mrs. M, who's also over 4,000 and doing amazing work on her YouTube channel. She's knocked me into a cocked hat, and I can't think of any better person to knock me into a cocked hat than Mrs. M. Good morning, Carlos. Flying back to the UK today. That's Henry Jeffries. Good morning to you, Henry. To the gym, then a little bit of shopping. Oh, okay. So you're going to the gym in Portugal, then a bit of shopping in Lisbon, then the metro back to the airport. Good to see you here, albeit briefly in Portugal, Henry. And speak to you soon, mate. Bon dia from Michael Barton in Miranda de Corvo. Good morning to you. My brother loves cats, so often says things like this to me. Obrigado. Very good. Meow, irmão. Oh, I see. Yeah. Irmão. I told him obrigado. Could also work. That is very good, isn't it? Cat-based. We've got an elephant in the room. Now we can have cat-based Portuguese. See you on Monday, James. Yeah, he said even better that with an obrigado. Very good. I think Pam might like that too because she's a cat owner. Bon dia from Pam. And guess what, everybody? We got our residency yesterday. I think you need the official horn for that. Where is it? Let me see. You need some of this. Oh, there's normally a rapturous round of applause. Well, there is on some versions of that jingle, but congratulations to you. You get a Barcelo for that. Very good. Congratulations. How are you celebrating that, Barack, by the way? Buenos dias from the coast of Spain, says Jay this morning. Antonio F. also in. And James is pleased to see you. Look at that. Antonio! And happy Friday, Gumpers, from Michael Barton. Thank you. The Feelgood Friday vibe is being felt right here, isn't it? My brother is currently in Bangkok. Is this the beginning of a joke? I can't go outside. Oh, he can't go outside due to a red flag warning related to air pollution. Yeah. It's a busy old city, isn't it, Bangkok? I've been there and enjoyed my time in Bangkok and Thailand generally. Thailand's such a beautiful country. And sorry to hear that. I mean, that's awful, isn't it? Being stuck inside because of air pollution. And being stuck inside, there's not a lot of fresh air inside, is there, with these air-conditioned environments as well. So I hope your brother and all the people of Bangkok can get back outside soon. How awful for them. Including the Posada on the Silver Coast in Obidos, Posada Obidos, Castelo de Obidos. I might have missed out a bit here. What happened to what did I miss from João de Norte here? Or is that other places where your cat is showing off its anus? I wonder. Dr. McCoy, not Scotty. Thank you very much for that, James. The guy on the right is Dr. Bones, who was from Decatur. I think that's how you say it, isn't it? Decatur. Georgia, like us, if you're from Decatur, you're very aware of anyone famous who ever had contact with it's such a good name. I'm hoping I'm saying it right, Decatur. Thanks for the plug. I'm famous. You so are. Anyone who Gumpers are just famous. You are a Gumper, and that on the cutting I showed you, or the full page pic of the article in which we have John, the cat, and myself having a sesta. It's not a siesta here in Portugal; it's a sesta, and we thoroughly recommend it, don't we, John? Bottom right hand there, if you manage to get yourself a copy of this article, it's not online yet for some reason. I'm not sure why. And I was asked to write an especially upbeat message in this column, because that's the one that's being circulated in the United States while the Portugal resident are on tour over there around now. But bottom right-hand corner of that page, there is a definition of what it is to be a Gumper, which is very nice to see. And you are automatically famous if you just call yourself a Gumper. You might even get discounts in shops. You can go into police stations, say that you're a Gumper, and demand a cup of coffee here in Portugal. Oh my God, did you really just say that? No, I didn't. The last day of Carnival in Alcobaça is Enterro do Intrudo, which is a kind of funeral service for the death of that year's carnival, including a coffin, which is burned afterwards. Now, you sent us, I didn't realize it was a coffin, Pam. You sent us that fire yesterday, didn't you? This is it. I think there was a bit of a short clip. Let's do that again. Is that a sound that's made to herald the end of the Carnival as well? I guess after 5 days of partying, people do become quite attached to the Carnival. Was that a barbecue, though, or was it a coffin? So some people, there's not a lot of difference, is there? Yeah, my mind's racing with that, but I'm not going to say the things that are going through my mind right now when it comes to combining coffins and barbecues. Coach Turner limbering up, as you might expect, at his home in Hertfordshire in the UK. Greetings from the Algarve. Bit cloudy, but not raining in the Algarve. You need the rain down there, Paul. You know that, don't you? That's until we build the Estrada d'Agua, of course, that we were talking about yesterday. And James, I've been to Bangkok years ago. I just like saying Bangkok, 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 Bangkok. Always makes me giggle. Grow up, man. Carl, you missed my shameless plug. Is that to do with cats and their bottoms as well? That would be quite good if cats. Well, cats were of course around in the Victorian times, and I imagine the sight of a cat's anus would have shocked a Victorian. So maybe they had a shameless plug, especially for that purpose. I don't know, with a little tassel on it or something. I'm not sure, and I don't know what happened to the shameless plug. I don't know why João de Norte is talking about posadas around the rest of the country. But I imagine these mysteries will be revealed to me in due course, like a cat's bottom. Magic, Antonio F. coming up north in March. Again, these are random snippets of information. Leave it, James. Just leave it, will you? And Susie's in as well. Good day. Sent a pic. Garden will be roomier. Baddie finding out tree guy has other skills. Now that's an intriguing picture by the sound of it. Let's have a look at what's been going on in Baddie's backyard. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is that for showing? Okay, there's talk of loquat and fig trees there. It's a tree down in Baddie's back garden, it would appear. Thank you very much for that picture. Still trying to figure out what's going on with shameless plugs and posadas around the country. It was a coffin with a man in it, not real. Sound was a lively child. Well, thank you for clearing that up. Much appreciated. One more time then, with the coffin in Alcobaça, heralding, I suppose that's the wrong word, isn't it, when it's mourning, there you go, mourning the end of Carnival over Alcobaça Way. 3 seconds of fire. They have doubled up with the barbecue there. I'm pretty sure of that, Pam. Coach Turner joining us in just a moment. Mrs. M also joining us in a little while as well. What I want to share when she joins us is this incredible guide, nearly 40 pages in the Portugal History and Culture PDF booklet here. And I think I was going to ask her, I think it's going to be fairly obvious what the answer is. You'll see from this illustration here, thank you, David Mapley, for this incredible piece of work, the history and culture of Portugal. And there's our picture above it. And I presume that I'm the history and she's the culture on this occasion here. And let's not say it the other way around, because that's bound to cause offense. Paz Lebon also in. Love your name, Paz Lebon. I was coughing earlier, sore throat. Oh my goodness.
Stop it!
Wrong jingle, but it kind of worked. It wasn't a cough that carried him off. It was a coughing that carried him off in. That's what one of my teachers used to say at school. Very good, Paz Lebon, getting into the dad joke energies there of the Good Morning Portugal show. Yeah, this is a superb piece of work by David Mapley there. Let me just give you a quick scroll through it. We start with Fernando Pessoa, of course, as you would hope, when it comes to the history of Portugal. Prehistory of Portugal going back 400,000 years. Roman history, Swaby, Visigothic history, the Moors as well. So we start in 400,000 BC with Homo heidelbergensis. They're the ones, of course, I think, who invented the printing press 400,000 years ago, before Christ. That is a long time ago. And I think Mrs. Emma's still got their sourdough starter in our fridge, one of the most ancient in the world. Was that a cat? Cats, after all the things I've said about cats and shameless plugs, they're trying to scratch the door down of the studio, I think. So we go from 400,000 BC right through to 2004 there to José Barroso. I wonder if José Barroso likes being connected with Homo heidelbergensis 400,000 years ago. But a bit more about this with Mrs. M when she's here. She's moving. You can have your own camera, you know, if you take a seat over there. It's 8:59. It's nearly time for the coach to join us. Let's get Mrs. M onto the screen. Let's put her microphone up. Do you want to give us a sound check on the mic there, Mrs. M?
Microphone check.
1 2 1 2. There she is. How many electricians does it take to change? No, how many sound engineers does it take to change a light bulb? 1 2 1 2.
Oh, of course.
There you go. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Let's get you on the screen as well. How are you doing this morning?
I couldn't find the hairdryer.
Evidently, yes. It's a good look, though. It's a good look.
But I'm well, thank you.
Good to see you. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
It's been a
Since
while.
you sat in that seat.
Yeah, it has been a while.
It's
I have to say,
people have put other things on there. That's what happens if you don't sit in a seat for a long time in this house. Kids put drawings on, cats leave hairs on there. Yeah, so good to see you back in the chair.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invitation. I'm a little bit hesitant to come here because the last couple of times I've come here, it's just happened before a massive load of trolling. So I'm a little bit like tentative. You know, am I gonna awaken the beast that wants to?
Correlation is not causation.
Okay, well, yes, lots of people do say that.
Yeah. So you don't need to worry. I don't think.
Okay.
Just to clear one thing up before we welcome the coach onto the screen. Here we have the wonderful history and culture of Portugal put together by David Mapley, who I think you've met in a different capacity.
Yes, I have.
I'm the history and you're the culture, according to this illustration here on the screen. Can you see that? It's probably best that way around, isn't it?
Yeah, technically you're older. I think you're actually the history and the culture of our relationship.
I don't quite know how to take it. But
well, you got to study Latin, didn't you, at school? And you also got to take classics, didn't you? I mean, I begged my grammar school to teach me classics.
Yeah,
but I was the only person that wanted to do it, so it was an.
I bet you were popular.
Yeah, so
with the other kids.
Well, no, they well, yeah, that's there is that.
Boo!
But no, they weren't going to just like teach one subject to one person. So it's something I've read up about.
Okay,
I love it.
I'll take it. I am the history and the culture. So, and I just said as well before we welcome Ian on, going back, this history timeline goes back 400,000 years. Homo heidelbergensis, the inventors of the printing press. Is it true that you've got some of their sourdough starter in the fridge as well?
Yeah, probably.
Amazing, incredible, and a kombucha SCOBY from them too.
No,
where did that come from? Was that from the Moors?
I tossed all of my SCOBYs out.
Really?
Yeah.
On Pancake Day?
No, I tossed them out about a year ago.
Right.
Because they didn't feel like they were really good SCOBYs. They felt a little bit, I don't know, sickly. But we had a lovely little SCOBY surprise yesterday on a kombucha bottle. So I'm trying to ferment that. And if anyone here does have experience with kombucha, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
From our forthcoming cartoon series, Scooby-Doo. Wouldn't that be great?
That would actually work really well.
A version of Scooby-Doo involving kombucha.
Yeah.
It's a mystery as to whether it's ever going to work and what it actually does for you.
Yeah, and who's behind it going wrong? It's always like the janitor.
A janitor's mask would be quite a good place to ferment a SCOBY, I suspect, wouldn't it, in those humid and yeasty conditions?
I don't know. I mean, you can actually use kombucha SCOBYs in facial care. I know that you can use the kombucha water as a toner. Yeah, but not neat.
As a toner?
Yeah, as a No, don't put acetone.
Slipping some Portuguese in there.
No, don't. Oh, you're talking about olives. I thought you were talking about acetone.
No, it's
that's now varnish remover.
Talking of yeasty conditions, let's bring the coach on.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, coach!
Come on, couldn't resist it. I'm just talking about your trainers.
I'm
going to say athlete's foot.
You must have seen quite a few yeasty conditions, given where you work and who you work with. I mean, there must be a lot of chafing and yeast infections going on, I would imagine.
Oh, I'm not so sure about the yeast infections. I don't ask.
Yeah, quite right. You have to draw the line somewhere, don't you?
That's a bit personal.
It is, isn't it? Can't stretch to that. How are you this morning? Tudo bem? Como estás?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, very well. I had a wobble during the week, but I think that was probably suffering from my travels.
Where have you been?
It is a long time since you've been on. You missed the coach going to Italy. Yeah. What a beautiful trip.
We went to Rome. To Rome, and we had three days. Mrs. T and I wandering around all the sites of Rome, which is just spectacular. I'd never been. We'd never been, and I'm glad we have, and we'll be back. And then on the Saturday we went to the rugby with my cousin and a whole bunch of friends. So that was quite good fun too, and tended towards a lot of alcohol. So we had a good weekend, and I think I suffered from it this week.
Oh no!
Forgive my ignorance, Ian. We did watch England beat Wales, which I'm sorry to mention it, but we watched that in the Welsh bar with Tudor last Saturday, and it's a Six Nations.
Tudor wasn't happy.
Do you know what he said? He said, "Oh, very well. Congratulations, you English bastards."
That's about it.
At the top of his voice. He's allowed to. It's his own bar, isn't it? But does it continue this weekend? Are we seeing a final?
Well, to be honest, I don't know. I don't think so. I think they've got a week off.
Okay, Bobby might be able to answer that.
Bobby might, or Colin, one of the two.
Okay.
So, but just the atmosphere in the stadium was fantastic. So enthusiastic.
Yeah, it looked like a lovely atmosphere. It looked like a really great atmosphere.
Yeah. We were sat in the sunshine for the first half, actually getting suntan. Well, burns almost.
Watching the rugby in Italy, how lovely!
Lovely. Yeah. So we'll probably do that again in 2 years' time when they're back there.
And again, really super fun. Forgive my ignorance. This is turning into a massive pardoning session here, and all about my ignorance. But why is it called the Eternal City?
Good question. I have no idea.
Right. Okay. I mean,
it is, but it's probably because life springs eternal from Rome.
Yeah, and you took a lot of pictures of beautiful ceilings. Did that hurt your neck a little bit?
Yeah, I do this all the time. Well, I mean, it started when I lay down in our little bedroom, in our sort of Airbnb come hotel thing, and the ceiling was painted.
Oh,
There was a
lovely.
mural on the ceiling, and I thought, well, that's quite special.
Well, it makes a
and
change.
it went from there. Yeah, from Artex or
or mirrors or that, or a different kind of
yeah, maybe. But I mean, some of the churches are just spectacular. But every ceiling seems to be beautiful.
Yeah.
We were walking down one evening, unsurprisingly, towards a wine bar, and you see the apartment buildings up either side, because it's just full of big buildings.
Yeah.
And all of the ceilings are these beautiful wooden structures that just, it's a spectacular city. Probably the most spectacular I think I've ever been to. So
it shows you what human beings are capable of, and it makes you wonder why we don't build cities with that sort of vigor. It's because you haven't got slaves anymore, I suppose, hasn't it? In most parts of, I mean, there are a lot of slaves, of course. Joking aside, there are still people put to work in this way and living in horrible conditions and work conditions. But I suspect that is part of Rome's success, isn't it? Is that it was?
It certainly was in 2,000 years ago. There was slave class, and then a servant class.
Yeah,
and then people that had money.
Do you know what I always wonder? Because I'm pretty sure those buildings are really big, right, and really special. What I wonder is, how the heck did those slaves, if they were indeed slaves, like move all of that, all of the hardware, like all of the big stones on horse and cart? I have no idea how they do that.
I think you've got a little bit of theory behind the scenes. Maybe
I just don't believe for 1 minute the history that we have of how these massive buildings, it's just said, oh, they were done by slaves. We had loads of them, and we gave them garlic to make sure they finished the job.
What?
But I just don't see,
and salt.
Yeah, I just don't see how that many people can create those beautiful buildings, but actually transport all the stones. Because like when you see some of these stones, they're huge.
Yep.
Like
so there you go. Aliens. Simple.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the pyramids.
Yeah.
And those are even more spectacular because the accuracy that they were cut at.
Exactly. And man-made material, like man-made tools, can't replicate that. But I'm not, I'm not trying to say
now, because we've answered the question has been answered. Okay, what more do we need to know? It was
I think
Happy Friday from Tom.
Well, it's interesting, isn't
aliens.
Like you were talking about like the history of Portugal, and I'm questioning the history of like massive buildings worldwide.
You must have been incredibly popular at school, asking them to teach you the classics that nobody else wanted to hear,
and then not believing them,
and then not believing any of the history taught to you.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Well,
there is that.
Yeah. There's always one, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah, and it is me. Yeah.
It's the Anunnaki, apparently.
Well, I mean, like they are good questions, I think, aren't they? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
None of us could do it, could you? I mean, you work with the fittest people in the world, presumably.
Hold on a minute.
Coach.
I put up 5 IKEA wardrobes this week, and I'll let you into a little secret. The Anunnaki did pop in. I went this is how the Portuguese building industry works. That's why they have 2-hour lunches. So you go along to the local Tasca, and you order the prato de dia.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at site,
the
Anunnaki have moved in.
Fantastic.
And they're putting things together.
They're so good.
And then us Portuguese builders, which I now call myself after putting up 5 wardrobes here, we take the credit when we get back.
Yeah.
Simple as.
How many bits did you have left over?
Frequency. Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I could build a new wardrobe with the bits that are left over. In fact, there were only 4 wardrobes, and I made a 5th out of the extra bits.
There you go.
Excellent value. It's held together with gaffer tape, chewing gum, and cable ties.
Cable ties,
as most are when I make them. Yeah. Thank you for that, for Paz Lebon, the Anunnaki who keep visiting and using levitation. It's been a long overdue. They haven't been here for a while, have they? I think.
I don't know.
If you look at what's being
I've never
built,
met one, so I can't say.
Well, that's it. You don't get to meet
I
them.
mean,
They're in a different dimension.
Well, I've not met any of the slaves from back then. I've not, I just tend to not believe in things I haven't seen or experienced with my own eyes.
Yeah, it's an ancient inclination to ascribe the unknown to the gods. There you go. There's another plausible, very plausible theory. And of course, the main problem is that history is always viewed through our perception, which is by definition limited.
Yeah.
We can't imagine things beyond our imaginative capabilities.
Exactly.
So we
are ultimately very foolable.
We are. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Right, Coach Turner. God Squad tips of the day have been brilliant this week because they have been things you can do while sitting down. So really, nobody's got any excuse, have they?
Can you give me some?
So I think if we can go through one or two of those from early this week and then to do today's together, because I think it's a little bit of oops upside your head action.
Really?
It could well be.
Well, almost.
Fancy that.
I guess so. Let me just sort of tip this down a little.
Ooh.
Move backwards, and then we might be able to get. So the first one was just sitting like that and picking. Actually, it's easier if you put your hands on the chair.
Fall over it.
Just picking. Yeah. You don't want to be a stool or a swivel chair.
I'm on a
swivel chair.
I'm on both. I'm on a swiveling stool.
A swiveling stool.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
He doesn't like.
Are we going to do dips?
No.
No, it's just literally picking your knees up.
Knees up,
Just like that. Knees up on the ground. And I'm quite sort of tight around here. So
I'm feeling that. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Actually,
We did one where we just did that.
That's a lovely stretch.
we can make a heart shape in the middle.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
It is a bit of that.
Right.
What was the other?
That was lovely. Yeah. The other one was opening your legs, and this one has to be done with modesty and caution.
Yeah. So you pick your legs up so that they're sort of sticking out, and you just
and then give yourself a good airing.
Spread your legs. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's very much a man spreading thing.
It is a bit. I'm so sorry, love. I'm so sorry to do this.
But today's is leave your feet out in front of you, and then just flutter them up and down.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, I see. Like a ballet dancer.
Yeah. Don't move them more than about a foot in total.
Oh,
just up and down. And
This feels
it
nice.
just works these muscles in here and here.
It does feel good, doesn't it?
That's quite a good one.
To have a little stretch, get the chi moving. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, so there's a little selection.
On that note, that did remind me of ballet dancing, and I'd like your advice on this, both of you.
I'm very happy to support you if you want to go into adult ballet.
Well, look, just up the road with Samantha Jennings here in San Martino de Porto.
Perfect.
Is an adult ballet course. Now, it's all ladies in the picture. I feel a little bit like I might not fit in there. Discover the grace of dance, step into a world of timeless movement and newfound vitality.
Oh, but if you were single, Carl,
it'd be great, wouldn't it?
I think we should go anyway. And I'll ask if we're allowed to video.
It's
film you in there.
It's why blokes go to salsa, isn't it? Let's face it. Women love dancing, I think, generally speaking, and a lot of single blokes go to salsa, and a lot of great relationships come from that environment.
Actually, yeah. My ex, that's how he met his new
is it?
lady.
I'm sorry to have mentioned it.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's good news.
Called ex for a reason. Right. So Samantha is in English and Portuguese, adult ballet class, and it started last month, but she might be able to squeeze me in because she's obviously very flexible as a ballet teacher. It's never too late to dance. How about that?
Yes.
Thing is, you can't dance while no one's watching there, can you? Because everyone will be watching, and there'll be mirrors where you can watch yourself.
Yes.
What do you think?
Which you'll love. If you take me out today, I would like to invest in a pair of leggings for you. So we can
we go true 80s
up there. Let's do it.
I don't know if you're genuinely
genuinely
supporting me, or if you're
and
taking...
we will buy you tights that will support you too.
And what about those nice little silk shoes? Do I get any of those?
Ballet pumps. Yeah, if they come in
blocks. And they make your toes bleed. Those.
Yeah, that's less attractive. But I like the suggestion of switch the lights off and put Lego on the floor. That would also help.
that D-Duck? Put your trousers on. What? Pass the ball. I switch the lights off and put Lego on the floor. That's great exercise, isn't
and
it?
Jackie
Coach?
said you'd look beautiful in a tutu.
That
which
is
I think
really,
it's really
you,
true.
Thank you for your.
You know, we have
encouragement.
seen Carl dressed up as pantomime dames.
Yeah,
And he's
not
actually
quite
got
the
a
same,
beautiful pair of legs. So I think you should.
I think that is the missing from my repertoire.
Yeah.
The dancing part, so the singing and the acting.
You can wear your mankini, Carl.
This is. I love it when
That's
a plan
true,
comes together. Okay, all right.
So talking of plans coming together, I realised that the 2 days that we're going to be with you in San Martino,
Oh, when's that?
the 23rd and 24th of April,
Great.
will coincide with your weekly meetup at the Storytellers, which is where we'll be staying.
Fantastic.
That is brilliant.
We can almost have organised it.
Yes. You see, I think the Anunnaki are organising it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's no
Who
such
knows?
thing as a
That's
coincidence.
it. That's
Yep.
it.
I saw a program once where they demonstrated ancient building techniques using animals and pulleys. It was interesting. So there is that
Fascinating.
theory as well, isn't there?
Yeah. I wonder how they make those pulleys like 2,000 years ago with the metalwork. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen the metalwork in museums and stuff. I can't imagine, like, we couldn't create like a pulley, like a metal pulley strong enough. I don't know. I think
They could be wooden.
I'd love to see it, Pam. If you got a link to it, I'd love to see it.
To be fair, we showed the kids levers, didn't we? I gave them a physics lesson. We're trying to move something in the garden and got a great big lever. It was great fun being able to demonstrate
an old
that in
table
real
leg or whatever it was.
Whatever we had to hand. Ha! YMCA, says Pinky. Morning to you, Pinky. Brings back memories. I had a job years ago and the director hated that song. So every holiday party, that song got played. Happy times at the workplace with passive aggression via the disco.
Look, you've got sponsors for your ballet lessons. Isn't that lovely? What a lovely, warm, beautiful, supportive community.
You're enjoying this too much. To see Carl in tights, I will pay for the lessons. Now, if I remember rightly, thank you, Michael, by the way, is there a cod piece involved as well? Because when you used to see those pictures of Rudolf Nureyev back in the 70s, he had quite the lunchbox, we could call it, didn't we?
I mean, all we need to do is go up to the campsite and nick one of those what are they called? Those
first
towing hooks. You know, like if you're towing a caravan.
Yeah.
My mum and dad
had ball
this
hitch.
Yeah, my mum and dad had this like a safety cover, which actually looked similar to the shape of a tackle.
A ball hitch cover to stop your towing tackle.
So we could go and half-inch one of those from the campsite up the road, beautiful. And you could shove it down your tights. There's your modesty.
Ball hitch cover. This is ballet on the cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a bit afraid to. I'm anticipating the look on Samantha Jennings' face when I arrive dressed like that, asking, "Is this where the ballet class is?"
Oh, look, you're getting so many offers.
OLP is here. Hi, Carl, Lewis, and Ian. Carl, I would pay to see you dance as well. Wait, what? Says Nubian, so confused. Waking up and falling asleep to this has given me interesting dreams.
Hi,
Nubian.
Love it.
Bon dia, Senor Antonio. Good morning to Squire of the
so
show.
Polite here and beautiful.
It is absolutely lovely. To be honest, I needed a huge rock moving in the garden, and a guy turned up with a lever and a few fence posts. That's not a joke, is it?
No, that's true.
That was starting out as a joke, wasn't it?
No, that's true.
Right. Okay. Go on, Coach. I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say that just to bring it back to coaching and exercise.
Thank you.
Ballet dancers are probably the fittest people I've ever come across. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, professionals, not us amateurs. Not
me in my tights and toe hitch cover.
They also make a lot of noise on the stage because they hit it so hard.
Is that right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they look graceful, but if you hear the noise on the stage, it's astonishing because they're bouncing up and down a lot.
Wow! So it's like a modern tennis match with all that grunting and shouting.
It's the noise they make when they land.
Yeah,
and take off.
The banging of the stage.
Yeah.
I thought you meant that they, a bit like when a tennis, a superstar is serving, they go, ugh! I thought that's what the ballet dancers do as well. When they lift, when
Not as far as I know, anyway.
When the guy goes to lift the woman up, he goes,
oh my God!
Oh, bloody hell! But you can't hear that because Swan Lake is being played.
It would be quite funny.
It would be like the Les Dawson version of a ballet.
Can you imagine that? With all the wrong notes as well.
Yes. In the right place. Morning, all. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Good morning to you, Owen, who was DJing the other night. Thank you.
Really, Owen?
Which is great.
That's super cool.
That's something Gumpers could do. I hope YMCA was on your set list there. Bondi and Munson's and Coach T as well from Sarah. Good morning.
Morning, Sarah.
Lovely to see you this morning. So thank you very much for those tips, Coach Turner. Stay with us for a few more minutes and maybe say hello to Bobby as we cross over and find out what's going on with the Six Nations. He was at
I've got to go at about just after past.
Excellent. All right. So,
I'm off to pick up a rowing machine.
You were saying that earlier on.
Yeah. So quite excited by that.
Is that to put clothes on in your bedroom? You could get a trouser press for that, or a chair.
A Corby trouser press.
Yes. Okay. So tell us more then. This is what you said earlier on, wasn't it? I thought we were doing a rowing workout, like we're going to go from YMCA to oops, upside your head. I said oops, upside your head, and have a bit of a workout like that. But you actually,
I need to do a bit more aerobic work, and on horrible wet days, when the last thing I want to do is go out and get wet. I want something to do. So we've got a little spinny bike thing, but it's a bit too small for me. Perfect for my other half.
But Coach,
do you exercise together?
That's a very personal.
Not generally.
Sorry.
In fact, she got up early this morning to do a workout before going off. She works on a Friday, does voluntary work on a Friday.
I see, and up early doing a workout. Now, these machines, Coach, should be. Yeah. I mean, I know you make a nod to the environment. You're an environmentalist in your own way. Shouldn't these machines be generating electricity? All of that energy is going to waste.
They could be. It is.
They should.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, at least a blender on the back of it, so that Mrs. T can make a smoothie while you're doing your thing.
Yes, that's
but that is a lot of wasted energy. See, the Anunnaki and the aliens would be laughing at us, wasting all that energy.
They would.
They really would.
Stored and used with big sticks and animals or whatever processes they use.
Yeah, well, they use levitation, obviously, like as suggested, and vibration.
That probably takes quite a lot of effort. To levitate, keep you fit.
Levitation and vibration, both at the same time.
For the nation, Louisa, you're absolutely glowing today.
Now that's a bit weird because that's like people say that when you're pregnant, and I'm not.
That wasn't my Valentine's gift.
A bit early to tell yet, mate.
Yeah, true.
No, but that's what people say when you're like, oh, you're glowing. Oh, aren't you looking great? But Sarah is very, very amazing, by the way, with faces. But I was giving myself a lymphatic drainage massage last night. So,
were you?
Yeah.
So she could tell. She could just
tell.
Yeah,
she's amazing, isn't she?
The earliest evidence of pulleys, apparently, according to Joao de Nort, dates back to ancient Egypt.
Seriously? Oh, Pam and Joao, you guys are awesome doing this research.
2,000 years pretty much before Christ there.
Yeah.
From Antonia to Pinky, new builds can have small issues in the foot. I'm missing comments here, I'm pretty sure, this morning. But I'm sure what's going on in the chat is very educational if you understand and are flowing with that particular conversation. Excellent stuff. Yes, I would agree with you as well. So she's absolutely glowing. Now, a few things to show you then before O'Reilly gets here. And we've got a movie to share, well, a little promo as well when he does.
Is this the one with me going?
You're in there.
All right, Governor.
Oh no, that's this one. Let's have a quick minute of the farmers' action then. Yesterday, this is you sounding very southeast on this video.
I did, didn't I?
You did, yeah. Let's check out Mrs. M here, thinking she's not in Caldash de Renia, but in Caldash de Rainham in Kent.
Give them a thumbs up. But I think they need some love. They need to feel the support of everyone. They're people taking action.
That was amazing, wasn't it? More horn there than was experienced on Valentine's Day, I suspect, in Caldestirania. There, quite extraordinary. Yay, farmers, says Sarah Taylor. It was very moving, wasn't it?
Yeah, we both got a bit teary.
I did. Yeah, I welled up with
did.
all that hooting and honking. And I at one point, I caught the eye of a farmer and gave him a thumbs up, and he looked back at me, and it was a lovely moment, and to connect with the people who grow our food. Yeah. Well, they weren't in that particular moment because they were busy blocking up Caldestirania. Yeah. But ordinarily, they're growing the food. It's right what T-Duck, I think, was saying earlier on. You know, the EU have backed down, I think, with some of the demands that got the farmers so cross. So I don't quite know why they were still out in force yesterday, but I'm sure we'll find out in due course. Is it happening in Hertfordshire? You've got some agriculture there, haven't you, Ian?
It's a little bit.
Right.
People can afford the land.
Oh, yes, of course.
In Hertfordshire, anyway. I think the farmers are due to have a big demonstration here in the next day or two. Yeah. I did read, so because I think they're just being massacred.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
You know, so farmers going out of business. The big farming agriculture businesses are buying up stuff, and we're going to end up like the US, which would be horrible.
It would, wouldn't it? So, mega farms and no small farming. Yeah.
We will see.
But a lovely point here from João de Norte, the Portuguese polite protest. How polite Portuguese farmers are. I thought the idea was for them to block the road and impede traffic. Actually, what happened yesterday? We arrived in Caldestirania, and I could see the PSP police up ahead. I was thinking, oh, here we go, flipping roadblock. Have I got all my documents? And they were stopping the traffic to let the farmers through and to start the protest. So the farmers here had a police escort, and they drove around Caldesh for a while. I saw some amazing footage of them. You know, the lovely street we like, the Bond Street of Caldestirania, which I think is featured in the footage that we'll see with Bobby O'Reilly in a minute. They drove through the town, and they made their point, but they didn't cause a load of, upset or difficulty or blockage in the town. So absolutely right there, João de Norte. Well done, farmers, says Tom West there.
I'm wondering, has anyone seen any difference in the supermarkets yet? Because when I went to
food supply,
when I went to Intermarché a couple of nights ago, there were masses of areas that were just completely empty, and I wasn't sure if
that always happens.
Is that what it's like?
Intermarché is one of those supermarkets.
That's why I wanted to check.
I think that's if ever you're worried in an Intermarché in Portugal with empty shelves, it's not because the apocalypse is here. It's because that's their stacking policy. It's like, have we got any milk? No, it hasn't been delivered yet. So should we pull everything forward? No, don't worry, they'll deliver it soon. I think that's what happens. That's what happens in Intermarché supermarkets. They're not too bothered about merchandising, particularly in there. But you make a good point. I mean, if the farmers aren't growing and are protesting, presumably
we will catch up at some point.
Yeah, there might be a supply chain.
Which is why it's really good, I think, to support your local farmers and your farmers markets and things like that. I mean, like farmers markets just sound so middle class, don't they, in the UK?
Well, that's because the costs are much higher. The prices are much higher in farmers markets than they are in the supermarkets.
But like our local markets,
it's a bit self-defeating, really.
Are really great, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Happening in the UK, says Jackie, and food shortages slowly starting. To answer your question there, Mrs. M, off to buy the important things in life like tea bags and sugar. Don't forget the toilet roll. You need to be starting a toilet roll crisis as well, Jackie. and chocolate, lots of chocolate, just in case. And Portuguese strike, says James, please excuse. Oh, this is how Portuguese strike goes. Please excuse me. I would like to go on strike next Tuesday, but just for now, if you don't mind terribly. That's brilliant. Long may it continue. Nubianet is here despite the fact that you should be asleep over there in California. It's 9:30. Time to welcome Bobby O'Reilly, who hasn't been here for a while. And if you want to cross over quickly and we can find out what's going on with the Six Nations, I present to you Mr. Bobby O'Reilly, everybody, on this Feelgood Friday. Hello, Bobby.
Morning, Bobby.
All good.
It's been a while, isn't it? Since we've
Yes.
had you on the screen here, I think. How are you?
He's a happy man because of the rugby.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody beating Ireland this year.
We don't like to say it too early, A friend of mine rang me yesterday, actually a couple of days ago. Looks like the Six Nations again for us, huh? And I went, stop, you're sounding English.
Yeah, it is an English disease.
Yeah, so true. So you were at the football as well last night, Bobby. We'll find out more about the Six Nations in just a moment because we couldn't answer when the next fixtures are. But you were an exciting football match that I nearly got to. You invited us very kindly for a bit of Englishman, Irishman, and walking into a football match action last night. I said I was working. Your response was working. You fair
play. Fair play.
But I'm so over it now. I put up 5 wardrobes this week. How was it last night?
That was great. It was the Euro League, the European Cup, or the how do you call it?
Champions League, isn't it?
No, not Champions League. It was the knocked out of Champions League, so they're in the
Europa Cup.
Europa Cup.
That's the one.
And it was against Toulouse, and they had the ball for 90% of the game, but they scored 2 penalties, and the other scored from play, if you like, But it was a sort of a 96-minute penalty that won it, so it was pretty controversial. The crowd was bananas. You couldn't see at one stage. You couldn't actually see the pitch for the smoke from the flares. You couldn't see it. And actually, that's when the other scored. I hear the goalkeeper was going like,
Where's the other players?
It's like a Jean-Michel Jarre concert rather than a football match. There's just a few lasers on there. So, and that's what happens, isn't it, when the European teams play each other? I mean, I think all the hooligans are there presumably as well, making a lot of noise, throwing flares. I get it was a pretty electrifying atmosphere.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, we normally drive to the stadium. Last night we took an Uber because we were going to have a few drinks, and we couldn't find our way to where we normally go because we normally have to take an elevator from the car park, So we had to walk around the stadium, but we came across all the away fans.
Oh no!
The police had made like a cordon for them. They were all sort of held in like a herd of sheep in one area, and then only so many were escorted into the stadium at a time, and we had to wait for that to happen to get past and everything. So it looked a bit sort of overkill, but I can see probably why they do it. Because
last week the police were on strike last week, weren't they? They phoned in sick. Loads of them phoned in sick. Yeah. It's the only way they could take industrial action. And there was a big kickoff outside a match, but not in the traditional sense, but between the hooligans. So I think maybe they were up in their game. Again, pardon the pun, with managing the potential violence outside the match. But a great night by the sound of it.
No, it was great. Absolutely. We didn't get out of there till after 12 o'clock last night, out of the stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. Okay, that's football. So Six Nations then. Ian and I couldn't figure out when the next matches were. Is it a rest weekend this weekend?
I think
it is. Ireland are going to win next weekend.
I didn't look. I haven't looked, but I normally have the thing here. But I think this week is a rest week.
Okay.
And I think then Ireland is going to have to be honest with you, I need to look at the fixtures. I didn't get a chance to look at the fixtures. But so far, like what Ian was saying there, that Ireland looks like they're going to thump everybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite happy. Like we had sort of our B team out against Italy, and they still performed fantastically. And beating France the way they bet France in France was just astounding. So
fantastic.
Fingers crossed. But again, Scotland, I think, were robbed against France. There's a big sort of controversy over that as well. So, and actually, I think it was a try, and Scotland are now demanding an apology from the Six Nations organisers, if you like. So it's a funny Six Nations, but it'll be good. I think the rest of it will be good.
And what an amazing year for sport. I know you got to go, Ian, but I just want your view on this before we play our promo of Flavours of India, Bobby. We've got the premiere of that this morning. It's just the promo. It's not the full documentary, but it is the promo this morning. What an amazing year for sport, because I was writing about what's going on in Portugal with the election coming up. That's March the 10th, 50-year celebration of the Carnation Revolution. and an Olympics and Euros 2024. There's so much going on this year, isn't there? I forgot there was a Parisian Olympics. And is it true that one of the new sports is the 100-meter dash from the riot police in Paris at the moment?
That's the same sport every year.
Yeah, that's true. But when I was a kid, I remember the Olympics. School holidays would start, and they lasted for about a year, didn't they? School holidays back in the day, like to go on forever. The Olympics would start, and that would seem to go on for 2 years. Now it's just being squeezed in among, every country in the world is having an election. We've got all the things going on here in Portugal. Why is there no talk yet of the Olympics?
I don't know. It seems to have been very quiet.
It's true, isn't it? And then the football, Euro 24, is there a pretty significant tournament? I'm not hearing much about that. Is it just too much going on at the moment?
There's too much news going on at the moment, I think. Like
overshadowing. Yeah.
I mean, how the world. Sport? Yeah, when there's wars all over the place, how does sport sit with that?
Well, I don't know. That's how the news used to be. Again, in this time of long summer holidays, there'd be a bit of news, a bit of war, a bit of sport, and there'd be a nice balance of these things. That's all changing now. It seems, isn't it? It's quite weird.
It has been very quiet. Quiet.
But we'll see. That will be coming along soon. Okay, well, Coach, thank you very much for being here this morning. Thank you for your continued service to the community and some chair-based exercise. People have appreciated this week. So have a great weekend.
Have anyway.
I really have.
I've just been doing mine.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Well, have a great weekend. Good to see you.
And we'll see you soon.
As you said, in April, you'll be in the country on your road trip. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Ciao. There goes the coach. Coach Turner with his God Squad tips of the day. I'll have to do a few of Ian's exercises tips this weekend. The chair exercises are doable as I get ready to leave for work. Thank you. That's great. And next week, hopefully, he'll be doing in-bed exercises to make it even better for everybody. Right, Bobby, we have a video to watch here. It seems like so long since I've seen you.
That's the last time we saw each other, wasn't it?
Well, we saw each other at the Coimbra Beer Festival, but you've not been on the screen for quite a while. So we've got all these things to catch up on here. First of which is us in Coimbra just recently. So here we go. But he can't right now. Don't worry. Over that barrow. Now there was a lot in there, and that's just the promo there. So we've got the full length version of that. But what a lovely lunch that was, Bobby?
Yeah, it was amazing. Actually, it was, how would you say, a nice surprise. If you know, like it was a different style of Indian cooking as well. So it was really lovely.
Mama Anila there. And I've noticed this is a developing theme in the videos here. You've got a food dance, haven't you? Have you always done that? Because that's an emerging theme in our filming.
No, I think it just came naturally, from the sort of the excitement of the flavors that were just bouncing around,
Yeah. With garam masala, because we all got sent away with a little pack of garam masala. Have you still got that in your jacket pocket somewhere, or did you use it? In 3 years' time, you'll put your hand in your pocket and find a silver foil wrap full of curry powders.
Stopped at the airport.
What's this? I have no idea. Did you pack your bag yourself? What about this? Yeah. And you used that garum stuff,
Yeah.
didn't you, Mrs. What did you do with it? Didn't we have turkey garum? I think we had turkey, didn't we? Some leftovers something and did that.
Couldn't quite remember.
Right, and Bobby, you sent me some pictures as well. So thank you, Ben, by the way, and Andy. Andy for the footage there, of course. Oh, and here's another opportunity for us. Cairo, can we come and eat your food as well and make a documentary there? Do you like Egyptian food, Bobby?
Yes, absolutely. I love all that kind of sort of, like Turkish, Egypt, Iranian, Lebanese. It sort of all melts in together.
It does, doesn't it? The Ottolenghi vibe over there. So that'll be lovely if we can come and do that. And Bobby, you can take to the floor with the belly dancer. So your food dance can turn into a belly dance because they have belly dancing over there at Cairo. Good morning to you. Sarah's saying, great video. I've seen Bobby's food. It's famous. Bobby's food dance is famous. I've seen Bobby's food dance before. And Carl with that umbrella and his stately walk. Yeah, it was a bit Chaplin-esque meeting some sort of Victorian politician. What was that about? I don't know. I don't even know where the Abrolli came from, but it was a prop. I think there, and there's plenty more to see. Thank you, Ben, for a great editing job. Thank you, Andy, for capturing the footage, and we look forward to all the full-length version of that. The pictures you sent me, Bobby, we're celebrating this morning, aren't we? We've got some groundwork going on at Haddad de Mayo. Can I share these?
Wow.
Sure.
Okay, brilliant. The first one, though, what's going on with your boy here?
Yeah, he's got a chip on his shoulder. So.
Bless him.
Very good.
How is he?
Excellent stuff. Okay, and I don't know the order of these especially, but I'm sure we can make sense of it. So last time I was there, we were broadcasting from the marketing suite, and we had a lot of fun. And you were entertaining the Portuguese media, weren't you? Now there are massive holes in the ground. What's going on?
Yeah, well, see, I was expecting that to happen a day or two after you were at the marketing suite. But it took us such a long time again just to get all the sort of stamps and whatever to get it going. But eventually we got everything done, and only about, I think, 3 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And we were only allowed to start pouring concrete last week. So now there's mayhem going on site. So we basically got, I don't know, about 20 big trucks and diggers, and they're pumping concrete every day. And Monday they're starting, all the steel work is going in on Monday, starting to go in on Monday. And hoping to have the 70 villas up out of the ground within the next 10 months. All of them, as in not finished, of course, but all the structural work done.
This is the classic thing with building, isn't it? It takes ages for anything to happen, and it sounds like you've had additional setbacks and unexplained or difficult to challenging plot twist, bureaucracy. Yes, in a word. But now things are beginning to happen. And look at this, Bobby. I would say definitely the sun is shining on the righteous here. Look at those shafts of light coming through.
I did notice that.
And we'll show the video of what they're going to look like in a minute as well. But is this because are these foundations look really deep? I mean, you see this sense of scale here. Are they having subterranean car parks? Is that how this is working?
Yeah, so it's 3 stories. So the ground, basically each floor is about 80 square meters. So obviously different up above, but the car park is about 80 square meters downstairs. You drive down into the car park. Oh, so you can park two cars in most, and actually some of them you can park 3. But you know yourself, in Portugal, most people turn their car parks into cinemas and
bars.
Yeah, of course. And that's a way of having a bit more space, isn't it? It's a car park, it's a garage, honest, in the public record, but then there's all sorts. And it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of Portugal is underground. Yeah. In Portuguese engineering, I mean, maybe we were talking about aliens and the Anunnaki and the Egyptians and the Romans. Maybe one day people will look back on the Portuguese civilization and say they live most of their lives underground in these incredible car parks. I mean, there must be a lot of square meterage footage in Lisbon that is that you don't see, that is underneath all these buildings. When I met you in Chiado once, I couldn't believe where I parked, which is probably only a few feet away from us in the restaurant. Underground, it's quite extraordinary. What the people
it's because of the hills as well. But you know, in Baisha, actually, they have like another level of streets underneath the streets that are there.
I didn't know that.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like they have a whole subterranean sort of, and they open it, I think, in June every year for maybe a week, I think. And you can buy tickets and actually, or I think it's free, but you have to register to go down. and you can sort of see like old Lisbon from before and so on. I actually have to manage to do it, but I know lots of people who've done it and said it's absolutely amazing.
That sounds incredible. That's got your imagination,
Yeah,
hasn't it, Mrs.
yeah.
M? Do you suspect aliens might be involved in that as well?
No, but I do notice, like what you're talking about with the hills, Bobby. You know, there are some amazing houses, like sort of almost hanging off hills, you know, built into the side of hills in a way that you just don't really see in the UK, or I've never noticed in the UK. I've always been very surprised at just how daring, you know, the builders here are.
Especially when you know the house is attached to the hill with cable ties as well, because I see them all over. I see them lying around all over the street. Right, let's have a look at these buildings then, as they're going to be, and the final product basically from the video here. There was the Portuguese family in their cinema in the basement there. Wasn't there? That's brilliant. I mean, you must be so pleased to see work beginning to take place, and it's only going to be, maybe less than a year when people are living like that on this site.
Yeah, no, it'll take 2 years for this whole site to be finished, because it's rather large, but how would you say it? No, it's great to see the actual work going, and now it's just going to be constant. There's no more delays or anything can hold us up. So
lovely.
It'll grow very quickly. So the skyline should start to change very quickly, and then from there, I think people will see what. But we've more than half it sold already.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd say probably once people start seeing it coming out of the ground, it'll sort of even ramp up. But no, we're very proud of this project, and already started looking at the next couple of projects that we have here in Araweda. We've changed one of the projects back to 7 large villas, so we're doing 7, I think around 250 square meter above ground villas with 800 square meter plots and private pools, etc. as well. And then we have another 2 projects to start straight after that as well. So again, getting through the bureaucracy.
Keep it busy then. And word on the street is Arawera is being renamed O'Reilly-era. Is that true?
Yeah.
I thought you might say that.
That's my plan.
All right, very good. Ancient pulleys were made of wood, says Joel de Nort. OLP, greetings to you, Antonio F. And we managed to confuse Nubia Net this morning with the mankinis, ballet dancing. Oh, maybe Bobby will come with me to the ballet dancing class. That'll make a great video, that's for sure. People paying for the leggings and the cod pieces and so on. Owen's in, great to see you. Pinky, what I would like to know is if ancients were able to, maybe Bobby as a developer and a commissioner of buildings might know the answer to this. What I'd like to know is if ancients were able to build structures that still stand today, what's up with modern builders? I bought a new townhome in the 90s and constantly had to fix things in the first year. That's about modern economics more than anything, isn't it, Bobby?
Love, could you swap me and Bobby around?
Yeah,
so that Bobby doesn't have to go like that when the comments go up.
Guys, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's about the economics, isn't it? We're not using a massive slave army allegedly to build these marvelous buildings of ancient civilizations, and it's built according to price, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think actually it all comes down to the style of building as well as what people are building for and where they're building. Like when we moved to Portugal first, I don't think insulation had been invented in Portugal at that time. Yes. The house in the winter would absolutely freeze. You know, it'd be actually warmer outside than inside. Now, I think with the European standards of construction and so on and so forth going on, that you have to have an A+ house. You've no choice, but when you're building now, you have to follow a code of the building construction. So, but again, people are trying to make a profit. People are trying to afford houses, and I always come back to this: if the government weren't taking more than 35 or whatever % of the price of the house from people, they could be able to afford it a lot more.
Yeah.
So people are being forced to build cheaper to make it affordable as well. So quality-wise, it's people are trying to build as cheap as possible for making it affordable for as many people as possible, and that's why the quality is not what it was.
Yeah.
Because it used to be a lot. I remember when I started here, it was €600 a square meter to build. Now you're looking at about €2,500 a square meter.
Oh my God.
And EVA is non-refundable, non-recourseable with construction. So, for example, as a developer or as a company who's building houses, even if you pay a commission plus EVA, you can't write that EVA off. Or when you buy bricks or you buy whatever it is, you can't write it off. It's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying, what's the price for the windows or the floors, whatever it is. EVA is money you're going to pay to the state that you can't get back.
Yeah.
And that's 23% of everything that you're buying.
It's a lot. It's a lot, isn't it? I mean, and that's a disincentive, isn't it? It's not. It doesn't help at all. And whilst we have this ongoing conversation about how foreigners are putting up property prices, all of that sort of stuff is going on behind the scenes as well. That isn't being talked about and is deeply unhelpful to the cost of housing and creating affordable housing for Portuguese people, right?
Yeah, it's so what we've done is we've done the other way around. We actually are building top quality homes, A+, all the insulation, etc., etc., etc. So when you go forward, hopefully that you have a very little cost to run your house because of the solar panels and so on and so forth. But we were just having this conversation last night. What's going to happen in 10 years down the road when the cars are all electric and so on and so forth, and the government doesn't have anyone to tax? They can't tax fuel and so on and so forth. They're going to tax the sky or tax the sun or tax, your solar. You're going to tax electricity. Yeah. So, you can build now with the idea that people are going to save money on the utilities and so on and so forth, but you have no control over what the taxation system is going to be in 10 years' time.
Yeah. Yeah. So vote wisely. However, no, it won't make any difference, will it? Okay. On this serious matter of foreigners pushing up housing prices, I see as well that we're being blamed for the price of husbands. There's some speculation going on in Lisbon as well.
What's that all about? What's the backstory of that?
I don't know, where people can't sell housing anymore or get an AL license. They're actually selling their husbands. And if foreigners keep buying husbands at this rate, we're going to get blamed for inflation in that market as well. It's you just can't win, can you? I don't know if that does look like Lisbon to me, or it could be Tamar, couldn't it? But I would say that's Portugal.
Anyway.
Yeah,
safely say that's Portugal there. Okay, thanks for your comments, everybody coming in, and yeah, so good to see work happening at Haddad the Mayo there, Bobby. So congratulations on that. Netflix apparently has a Six Nations docu-series from last year's competition. If you want to gen up on rugby in general and the Six Nations specifically, there, Six Nations Full Contact. A very good look at rugby for somebody brought up with American football there, a distant cousin. Somebody was asking the question about, yes, Pinky, are there mobile home parks in Portugal?
We've got two within walking distance.
But they're for holidays, aren't they? They're not for...
But they have got some permanents on, haven't they?
Have they? Is that people that
the one
just
on the
can't
beach,
evict?
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
But you might know about this. Is it a thing in Portugal?
Yeah, it's starting to there. Actually, had an American client not too long ago. His business in the US was mobile home, basically accommodation where people would go and live. And he was looking to do the same here in Portugal because affordability and the housing crisis, if you like, is leading that it was a cheaper way for people to afford a place to live, and it was trailer parks. And it's a huge business in the States. And starting to creep in over here because the rules around, how would you say, permanent structures are different, but you still, if you're putting in sewage and water and electricity, etc., you still have to get planning for it. But like there's a huge trailer park here in Costa de Caparica, and it says holiday camp, but people live there all year round.
Yeah, that's how it begins, isn't it? And you can't blame them. I mean, what a great place to be, for one thing, and fair play to them for finding an affordable housing solution like that. I think the way it works in Portugal is like if you can move it, it's not classed as a permanent home. So maybe on the mobile home parks of the future in Portugal, it'll be like, okay, it's the annual moving of the house,
and everyone moves an inch.
Yeah, and everyone on a certain day of the year, everyone gets their Egyptian levers and pulleys out, and they move their mobile home 6 inches to the left. And then within a few years, everyone's moved around in a whole full circle.
Who knows?
I think, and that will get cracked down on. And this thing evolves, doesn't it? How people game the laws, then the laws catch up and people game them again. So would you say that that's going to be a growing phenomenon in Portugal?
Yes, I definitely think it is, because the price of housing is getting wider and the salaries are not increasing anyway with the affordability, especially for Portuguese local people. That youngsters, if they want to live, but I remember years ago when people got married, the first thing they bought was a mobile home. And that's where they started, where they were saving money to buy a house or build a house, that kind of way. But now I think if you buy a mobile home and save, you're still going to find it very difficult to buy a house, given what's happening with the property crisis we have in Portugal. And the crisis is not the prices, it's the amount. They don't have enough,
Well, the inventory.
Exactly, that's the problem.
So that would be a great solution. It's a quick solution as well, isn't it? If these parks emerge, if someone sees the opportunity in it, they could literally sprout up all over the country.
It's starting. It is already starting.
And it's like a convergence, isn't it? The digital nomad idea, little village, central Portugal villages, refurbs, some sort of kind of semi-permanent homes. There's actually quite an exciting possibility within it as well. Antonio F says there are many parks for tents and caravans. Yeah, these are the municipal campsites, aren't they? And we've got one of these in San Martino. But those that take caravans or mobile homes in a semi or permanent way are very few. AFIC. I wonder what that means. Is that the name of them, or is that an acronym I'm not familiar with? I'll have to do a few of Ian's exercise tips this weekend. Chair exercises are doable. Oh, that's right. And we've already covered that one. And I'm going to encourage the coach to give us some bed-based exercises next week as well.
You haven't given me a mouse, so I can't. Is that so I can't mess around with your comments?
Yeah,
that's. I've been trying to follow them. You've got loads of great ones. There's one from Mr. Reese from yesterday.
Bobby is right. Paul Reese. Paul Reese, great guest. I don't know if you've seen him, Bobby, on the show. We'll have to get you on together, because that'll be an amazing conversation to have you both on the screen. There's no incentive for the private sector to build affordable housing, as there's zero profit in it. This is the role of the state, but it avoids the issue year after year. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Bobby?
Yeah, they're bringing in a new law now that basically, so we're in the middle of purchasing another land. And it's going to take a couple of years to get planning, etc. But they've brought in a new law now, which nobody knows what it is exactly. But it's a percentage of the development needs to go to affordable housing or something like this. This is the new law, but no one understands what that is yet, what kind of form it's going to take, and so on and so forth. So, to be honest with you, it's not a bad thing. I think that it has to be looked at, but there has to be a bit of give and take, not just take.
Yeah.
So. I agree that there has to be affordable housing, and I think there has to be, incentives put in for affordable housing. But I always go the other way. I think that they have to give tax credits, which means they're not spending money. Tax credits to incentivize first-time buyers and so on and so forth, giving people a chance to get on the property ladder, and obviously then incentivizing for a type of build. So in other words, size build or the type of property that they would like people to live in. So there are ways and means to do it, but I just don't think there's any
will
or appetite, or even there's not enough political sort of gain from it, that kind of way. So they like to give out again, as you say, about the foreigners, but there's no one really doing that and really actively about it to sort of create affordable housing.
The beginning of a political cycle might be more favourable, mightn't it? Because I think the longer politicians go into their 5-year terms, the more promises they make that they don't deliver on. So it might be that there's a window for something to happen in the new election and new parliament.
Yeah, hopefully. But it's up in the air what's going to happen in this election.
Yeah, right.
But even if they get in, and how long they'll get in to be able to make purposeful political sort of decisions that will be meaningful going forward, because it's a bit like if you go back over the golden visa. It was a great idea 2012. Then there was a big hold up for 2 years because there was an investigation, and then they changed it for this and changed it for that. So as a developer or as somebody who's in business, to try and sort of prepare yourself for what's happening, because to get planning permission in this country takes about 3 years.
Wow.
To get actual planning. And so much can happen in that 3 years.
Yeah.
When you bought it first with whatever feasibility study you did, by the time it's finished, it's sort of like, okay, we have to do a completely different thing. So you have to be prepared for that. And that's really, you're taking a gamble.
Yeah.
And that's also a reason why there's not enough housing, is because people are afraid of political decisions changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
Without consequence.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the affordable housing premium, if you like. That's a new and another spanner in the works, albeit a noble and worthy one. But people will have to wait to see how the rubber hits the road, and that's another delay in the process, isn't it? And another reason for uncertainty in investment.
Exactly. Uncertainty is the big word, but you still have to. You sort of go on this thing that they're not going to make it in such a way that it won't make sense, or that it's going to destroy the possibility of you actually developing it. But I think it was you sent me an article, something like 55,000 houses that were not built, that were granted planning because of political uncertainty. 55,000.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. That's people's lives right there being held up by political processes.
Yeah, but they were houses that was granted.
Yeah.
But because people then went, well, I don't know if it's still such a good idea now to build them. Given the time frame has changed since we started, I don't know if I can still make money building houses here.
Yeah, incredible. It's past 10 o'clock. Can we just complete on a few more comments? I don't want to keep you unnecessarily, Bobby. It's great to see you again. The sense of compression is called aging with the football and the Olympics and everything else. And the events news is plentiful, just buried under virtually infinite news in front of our faces 24/7 these days. That's a good point. Thanks, James, for that. Hello, Liz F. lives in Paris, and it's true. Even here, we're not overwhelmed by the Olympic hype, but the prices being proposed for accommodation during the games are eye-watering. So there's a little bit of entrepreneurialism going on there ahead of the Olympics. We've got Liz F, a response from Nubian. I was possibly going to France to see relatives in May or June, but I might drop France if the prices are too high ahead of these Olympics. Then I'd just go to Portugal in May. Good plan. Jim White's here. Morning to you. Jim, bon dia todos. Nice to see you, Luisa. Bon fin de semana to you, Jim and Liz. I think the prices are probably normal in May and early June for you there, Nubian Net. Back to the housing. Quality control issues seem to be all across the board. Our friends who had a semi-custom built house and paid close to 1 million, same issues on fixes, repairs and corrections. That's sad to hear, isn't it? Paul Reese is in. Bobby is right. Let's get a t-shirt. T-shirts and merchandise with Bobby is right on it. That could work, couldn't it? Tiny homes are a nice hybrid. And that's another convergence, isn't it, of all these trends? Tiny homes, trailer parks, digital nomads. It could happen here in Portugal, couldn't it? All of those factors are present here. Mobile home parks in the US are getting bought up by investors and the residents extorted for ever higher rents. They can't go anywhere. If the parks come here, it would be great to prevent that. T-Duck wants you to read this out in an Irish accent, but we're not going to make you do that, Bobby.
I wondered why you wrote that.
Yes, it works well in an Irish accent. Affordable housing implies that the housing is affordable. In the US, affordable housing is still more than many can afford. It's funny that, isn't it? The irony of affordable housing always seems to be one step ahead of people who need it most, isn't it? And Nubian Net, that's the one of the reasons why I cook at home and I don't have the added expensive tipping on. Oh, that's affordable eating. Moving from affordable housing to affordable eating at home. Great to see you, Bobby. Sorry to keep you past 10 o'clock there, but excellent to see you back on the screen. It's been a while.
Nice
have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana. We're going to stick around and look at those events in Barrada. A final word from you?
No, have a good weekend.
Not even that. Okay, all right. Take care, mate. Love to the family over there, and good luck with the continued construction on the Hedda de Mayo site there. Lovely to see those pictures. Take care, mate, and ciao, ciao. Bye for now. There goes Bobby. Do you want to try that, Mrs. M? How does that sound in a southeast accent?
I would. Well, it's funny because I never know how to use my own accent like that I was raised in.
Yeah.
Apart from those old moments where we're driving in the back of a car and
Knees Up, Mother Brown comes on the radio.
Oh yeah. Well,
No,
I still don't think I
don't
still
do it,
don't think I could do it.
Right. We've sailed close to the wind with cat-based pencil sharpeners and other things this morning.
I missed that.
You didn't miss anything really. Yes, using the term missed advisedly. So let's have a look at these on our old stomping ground, Mrs. M. Which of these would you go to? The arroz de gala. Oh, that's the blood rice.
No,
would you know? It's
I
a no
wouldn't do
for
that.
that one. On the 17th.
Sure, it's
that's
tasty
tomorrow.
though.
I would go there. I haven't eaten that yet, as far as I'm aware. Although we did have something quite similar in Caparica, didn't we?
Yeah.
A blood-based beanie, offally type stew.
Yeah.
That day when we said, give us something that locals would eat, and they all
The lady laughed.
Yeah. Free walks in Meliada municipality and surrounding.
I'd do that.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
do that when we. Thanks, Andy, for these. And a soup festival in Pagliassa,
Yeah.
a soup festival.
Where
That's
is
lovely.
Pagliassa?
Pagliassa is one of those little villages we used to drive through in the Bayrada. Not Mama Rosa, but all, those
Yeah.
kind of little villages that are so wonderful out that way. Keep fit, Agada, and
Totally
surrounding
do
areas.
that.
Totally.
Love Agada.
I turn up to that in my leggings and ballet pumps. A night of fado and suckling pig? Not so much. You're a bit squeamish with the suckling pig, aren't you? Yeah, okay. But that's happening in Mama Rosa, aforementioned there, banquet at Quinta de Cavaliero, and more free walks, Caminard in Natureza there. In the Bayrada. Thank you so much, Andy. You'll find these on the Gumper map. Go on, Mrs. M.
This is the right time of year, isn't it, to go on these lovely walks because it doesn't get scorching hot.
That's right. Yes,
It's the perfect time.
You might get rained on, so take
but
your
even
cagoule
then,
with
it's
you.
still quite warm, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like we went out yesterday and it was beautiful.
Very mild. And we sat out outside the house the other night while it was raining and breezy, and it was warm, wasn't it? The air was warm,
kind of humid,
which is lovely. We didn't get the chance to play Spot the Dinosaur this morning.
That's that's a trick question, isn't it? No offense, Colin. And Carl.
and there we are. That was the test drive.
Sorry about
that. We've got the my article this week. Fingers crossed for the Portugal resident is how to make buying a car in Portugal a little bit easier. And here's our ally in that business. Do you know what the most difficult thing is about buying a car from this man?
I don't know. What is
saying his name? Everything else is easy. He is called Rui Ira. Would you like to say that?
Rui.
You see?
Rui Ira.
Rui Ira.
Yeah.
That's difficult, isn't it? So if you ring up, you just ask for a Rui and you'll be fine. But that is the most difficult thing about buying a car from this lovely man. And thanks again, Rui, for lending us this beautiful hybrid RAV4 here. Did you like that, Mrs. M? You thought you weed yourself when I put the heated seat on, didn't you?
No, I did not. I loved having a heated seat. That was very nice.
Yeah.
I was mystified by our kids' reactions.
They were so sweet, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Because like little Solomon, who's 5, thought we'd taken it from this man's
family.
That's
right. Yeah.
And so he was like, I like
it's
it, nice, but
his children will miss this car.
Yeah, his children are going to miss this car. We need to take it back, Daddy.
Yeah.
That was very, very sweet of him. Weirdly, our kids said,
we prefer our old car. It's got our memories.
Yeah, we've got our old car is older than one of your older kids.
Yes, it's older than all the children put together.
Yes,
possibly.
it is. Like it's in it's well in its 20s with bits falling off, and it's really.
So as much as we like it, we're not going to buy the RAV4.
No. Not today, but it was good fun to take out. It was good fun. It was good fun to take out.
Superb. Okay, Mrs. M, final words from you. It's 9 minutes past 10. We've got to go and have a weekend, haven't we?
Oh, we've got to have a meeting.
Have we got a meeting now?
And then I've got to spend a day in a garden
Sounds
clearing
serious.
it up and using a
manual work. I thoroughly
yes.
recommend it. My little dabble with it this week. I would recommend it to anybody.
Yep.
I'd forgotten about that.
I'm going to have fun with a high pressure hose.
Yes. Who doesn't like happy weekend all from Suze. Bye. A good weekend all from Lizethia. Bon fin de semana to everyone. Thanks. Hit that like button. And a final greeting from Michael here. Have a great weekend. Right back at you, Michael,
lovely.
and everyone. Bon fin de semana.
What a lovely vibe today.
Gumpers,
so nice to
Gumpers
see.
are awesome.
Yeah.
Gumpers are awesome.
Nice to see Coach. Nice to see Bobby. It's just great.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we play out with that video one more time? Be nice, wouldn't it? Did you like the treatment of yourself in that video?
We need to give them some support. How did I say it?
No, not the farmers. I'm talking about the flavors of India with
the
Mama
flavors
Anila.
of India.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there was one bit that had been cut out. I noticed the bit of you and Bobby sat near the statues.
That'll come in the that'll be in the full length version.
Yeah.
And just finally, who doesn't like a full length version first thing in the morning? Mrs. M.
Yeah, you
Bon
got
fin
me
de
there.
semana to you, and bon fin de semana to all you lovely gumpers. Take care and bye for now. Big round of applause for you.
Lots of love.
Ciao, ciao.
Bon fin de semana.
Wow. He would speak, but he can't right now. Don't work.